Will's mom was filming him as he praised and adored the roarball star, Jett Fillmore. Seeing how much he loved her, she decided they should go watch a match at the stadium. They entered the stadium and took their seats. The match was about to begin, and the spotlight shone on Jett Fillmore. The game started, and Jett absolutely crushed it. The crowd went wild. Will looked at Jett with so much inspiration and told his mother that when he grew up, he wanted to be just like Jett Fillmore. 10 years later, Will was in his room exercising when his horns punctured through the roof. Theo asked if he was okay. Will promised Theo that when he made it big, he would give him tickets ball to ball, as he taped the hole in the ceiling. As he left the room, the hamster landlord asked for rent and when he planned to pay. Will said he would pay as soon as he fixed the holes in the ceiling. The hamster looked confused and asked, "What holes?" But Will had already left. Will arrived at the cafe, where everyone greeted him. The news was playing about Jett facing Gulob, and people were giving their opinions about the match. Will bounced his ball as he headed out to do deliveries. On the train, he was squeezed between two giant animals, but he managed to deliver all his packages. One delivery was to his friend Derek, who invited him in. Anna was also there. Will and Anna started arguing about Jett, Gulob, and the upcoming match. Will picked up his ball and said he was going to practice in the cage and wouldn't get caught. At the cage, Will cheered for himself as he practiced. He worked on his long-range throws. He tried his big shot but missed. He tried again and made the basket. He picked up the ball for one last throw, but a bear blocked it. Then two other huge animals, a rhino and an ox, came and told Will to leave unless he wanted to be kicked out. They called him a young man. Will replied that he was not a young man but a middle-aged man. The bear mocked him, saying, "You don't mess with a middle-aged man." Will told them he wanted to show them what he could do and that he was better than all of them, but they refused. He left. Meanwhile, Jett Fillmore was no longer the star she once was. Her performances weren't working like before, and people were making fun of her for being too old to play. She felt terrible. Flo, the pig who owned the team, was taking a bath when Jett stormed in, asking how she was supposed to win when people labeled her a cheat and a loser. Jett demanded that a sixth player be added to the team. That night, Will returned home. Frank, the hamster landlord, came out asking for rent. Will handed him papers and asked for more time. Frank said he needed to feed his family. All his children came out to greet Will. There were so many of them. Frank warned Will that if he didn't pay by next week, he would be evicted. Desperate, Will decided to sell his sneakers to get enough money for rent. The buyer offered him a very low price, but he accepted. Just then, his friends told him Gulob was at the cage playing against everyone. Will grabbed the cash and rushed out. At the court, Gulob was defeating everyone. Nobody could match his abilities. He flew, dunked, and made every basket. Then Gulob started trash-talking their city, Liana. He said no one better existed in Liana and that a beast god was born in that cage from the weakness of their city. He asked, "Who's next?" Will was furious at how he spoke about Jett and their city. He stepped forward and said, "Don't you ever speak about Jett and our city that way." Seeing that a goat was challenging him, Gulob laughed. He refused to play him and told him to go play with sandbags. Will made a bet using the money he got from selling his shoes. The crowd became hyped. Gulob looked confused but accepted. Gulob handed Will the ball. Will taunted him and made the first clean shot. The crowd erupted. He dribbled Gulob easily, making him fall, and scored again. The crowd went wild. Gulob got serious. He blocked every angle. When Will threw the ball, Gulob jumped high, caught it, and started scoring repeatedly. He defeated Will. Will lay on the floor. Gulob extended his hand. Will grabbed it thinking it was sportsmanship. Instead, Gulob asked for the money. He took Will's money and celebrated, throwing it in the air. Will's friends told him what he did was cool and that they had filmed everything. Will returned home, only to find his room locked and someone else had moved in. His belongings were outside. As he was leaving, one of Frank's children told him he was sorry and that he believed in him. He made Will a sandwich and threw it to him, but it didn't even reach him. Will moved in with his friends. They edited his match with Gulob, and it turned out really good. Anna uploaded the video. The next day, Will walked to the cafe. People were acting strangely nice to him. He saw a beautiful Benz parked outside. He stepped in and said, "What kind of clown parked so crookedly?" Everyone went quiet. The pig beside him said, "I'm the clown." It was Flo, the owner of Whistle Club. She talked about his match with Gulob and offered to sign him as the 6th player. Will immediately asked for a pen and signed the contract. The whole cafe celebrated. Meanwhile, Jett woke up and turned on the TV. She saw the news that Flo had signed a 6th player. She assumed it was a bear or crocodile. It was a goat. She rushed to Flo's office furiously, without noticing Will in the room. She shouted, asking if Flo had lost her mind putting a goat on the team. She said she would eat the goat and pretend nothing happened. Flo threw water on her to calm her down. At the press conference, Will sat so low in the chair that only the top of his head was visible. When they tried to raise the chair, it dropped again. The media questioned whether he was fit to play professionally and whether he was afraid of getting hurt. Will didn't know what to say. Jett answered for him, saying he knew the risks and loved the game. When asked if he was scared of Gulob in the finals, Jett said Will wasn't scared and even called Gulob his little boy. Will met Coach Dennis, who showed him the dressing room. Will was overjoyed seeing his jersey and sneakers. At his first game, he was in the spotlight as the new signee, but ended up on the bench, acting like a water boy. Later, when the team was losing, Jett subbed out and told Will to substitute her. Will entered the game. He was pushed around at first, but he finally got the ball and scored despite 2 defenders trying to stop him. The team found their rhythm and won. The team praised Will, leaving Jett out. Jett felt jealous and hurt. During a promo shoot in Linen, Jett was asked to pass the torch to Will as the new legend. She refused, saying she was still the legend. When they asked for a vote, everyone raised their hands. She stormed off. Will followed her. She opened up about her fears and frustrations. Fans harassed her with cameras, and Will helped her escape. He took her to the cafe where people still loved and worshipped her. She saw her old jersey, tattoos of her, and felt appreciated again. Will told her about his mother believing in him and how she passed away. He said he wanted to prove her right. Later, Main Attraction insulted Jett during a live stream. Jett responded confidently, praising her teammates and promising victory. Coach Dennis trained the team in teamwork. Jett struggled with passing as she wasn't used to it. They made it to the finals. Flo privately told Jett it was time to retire after the game. Will overheard. In the finals, Jett played selfishly at first, even stealing the ball from Will to score. The team qualified but wasn't happy. Jett later apologized. The team reunited. In the final match against Main Attraction, Jett was badly injured and told not to play again or risk ending her career. She returned on crutches. The crowd went wild. The game intensified. The Rhino was disqualified for attacking Main Attraction. Everything looked chaotic. Then Jett stepped in again. She played beautifully with the team. In the final moment, she faked a shot and passed the ball with her tail to Will. Will made the long-distance throw. It was the team's final hope. He scored. The crowd erupted. The Thorns became champions.